and welcome to SagePresence Selection Committee Insight for virtual AEC shortlist interviews.
What's the big fail that we should be worried about, and what's the big win that we should be focused on?
Yeah, I think the challenge is the multiple handoffs that you would do naturally in a conference room. Just they don't work as well in this environment. And if it's not well practiced, then you end up spending 3 to 5 minutes working on technology, and it can derail the presentation, and then you disengage the interview team.
Let's just say you're doing an interview. Let's say they're doing it well, but simple technology things that might not even be their fault. Just some things don't work. How big of a deal is that?
I would say the biggest thing for me was don't make excuses about the technology. This is the world we're living in. We're all trying to sort through it. I wouldn't hold anybody, or I wouldn't blame anyone for technical glitches that are beyond their control. I think everyone has a reasonable amount of understanding about what we're dealing with technology-wise. So it's more of a turnoff from my standpoint to make a bunch of excuses about this. We would be so much better if we were in the room with you versus the environment that we have to operate in. So
sure. Katherine, big wins or big fails? What comes to mind for you?
Well, I think I think some of the big fails are when the team doesn't have the right message. And it's all about the message. You know, it's one thing to stand up there and introduce yourselves, but if you don't have a focused idea of what you're trying to say, that could really hurt you.
Excellent. And so one thing, just so you know, I learned from you. I had sat in on some of the state designer selection events, watched the 3 interviews, sat through the selection deliberation, and I was hearing the ones that not only had clear messages, but sort of gang them together in a point of view. They had a really clear perspective. I remember how you responded to them, and they gave you a framework to hold everything. So I just wanted, you've been an influence for me on that particular point, because I saw it in action. So really listen to that one. It's not about a bunch of stuff. It's about taking all the stuff and figuring out what's the point, what's your perspective, and what is the point of view you're bringing. And that helps them, and that's more important than the technology. Rick, I want to hear from you. Big fails or big opportunities in the virtual platform?
Well, I think when I hear the team really gelling together, they're almost finishing each other's sentences, they're dialed in. That's impressive to us. They know what they're talking about. They've done some homework on the port. They know what we need. They're zeroing in, and as Katherine and Michael both said, I agree 100% there that you really need a team that's really targeting what we need. And I think that on the flip side, we've done some conference call interviews as well. And I think that the one thing that is least attractive to us is if someone's reading it. If they're just reading a script. And I think my 2 colleagues probably have had to deal with that a little bit too. But in my view, if you really know what you're talking about and you work with it and you have that passion that comes through as well, that's really important to us.
Okay, so let's capture something off of that. If that's really so important, it also means that even if you do know what you're talking about and you do have passion, if you then read it off your screen, no one will think that you do. So you're torpedoing your own potential of showing that you know it. That's why improv is so much better. That's why speaking from the heart instead of the script is so important.